Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved custom scenarios. I saw another SCP scenario on the list as of the last video. There you are. So of course we have to do it because we've done like all the other ones, right? SCP-718 Eyeball. Ooh, I think I remember this one. This is like a giant eyeball, it's like the size of a baseball or something, that just like rotates and watches everyone in its field of view. And I think the only thing that it does is it causes extreme discomfort and paranoia, which often will lead to the people observing it to want to destroy the eyeball. The problem is that's what it wants, because if you destroy the eyeball, it like explodes in like a, I don't know, a shower of little gooey droplets, which will latch onto organic material and cause these giant blisters, which will eventually create cloned copies of SCP-718. So it tries to get people to destroy it so that it can reproduce. That's sort of the way that it works. If I recall correctly, let's see. An eye, yep, roughly the size of a baseball. Thin stalk. Stare, discomfort or paranoia for a short time. The eye, if damaged, will explode. There we go. Showering clear fluid on all nearby surfaces before shielding into powder. Anything that it touches will... the blister will burst, creating a new copy of the SCP. Okay. This is actually something I'm kind of wondering if they're ever going to add into SCP Containment Breach, which would be kind of fun. Ah, it's classified as a parasite right now. Alright, that seems fine. Do you want to stick with all of this? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't really care that much. SCP-718, the Eyeball. Its stare induces paranoia, making subjects attempt to destroy it. When harmed, it will explode in the clear fluid that will make blisters grow on organic and inorganic surfaces. The blisters will burst with a new copy of SCP-718. That's actually a really good idea to use that to make into a Plague Inc. scenario, now that I think about it. That's really good. 86 instances of SCP-718 reside in a biological containment facility. The question is, in which one? Well, obviously the one in Saudi Arabia. Hazmat Intro. SCP-718's fluid became capable to enter a researcher's hazmat suit. Despite being detected, personnel failed to decontaminate it properly. Bonus cure resistance, but the Foundation is trying to stop you. Okay, so it sounds like they're going to start working on the cure immediately, but we've slowed it down a little bit. So, transmission. We have Tempt. Tempts viewers to attempt killing it. The slightest harm will cause it to explode with an infectious fluid. You know, you'd think it'd be a bit more infective or something like that, but okay, why not? Splat. Upon explosion, the fluid spreads wider, especially effective in populated areas. Inorganic. The fluid sticks better to inorganic surfaces where the blisters will form, which will create more copies of SCP-718. And Pets. Provokes domestic animals like dogs and cats to attack it. Urban and rural transmission. Very good. Would love to have that. Alright, we have Blisters 1. Anything the fluid touches will develop a clear blister-like bubble that slowly turns black. A copy will emerge after it will burst. Eye growth. Now, this can happen. I do recall that SCP-718 can, like, land and grow on a person or an animal. It can be surgically removed, but it's very difficult to do so. Copies are permanently affixed. If not removed, the subject becomes able to see through SCP-718. Vision is different. So you get, like, a third eye? I didn't know that. That's terrifying. Pain 1. Attempts to surgically remove SCP-718 causes extreme pain in the subject. Though removal is possible, makes them afraid to remove it. Blisters 2. And looks like it's basically the same thing, but a little bit better. We have Dead Burst. The death of a host will cause SCP-718 to burst. Corpse transmission. Sounds good to me. And then Paranoia. Now, this is something you'd think we have to get. That's sort of the entire point, is making people paranoid, but okay. Often resulting in the subject's attempt to destroy, makes research harder. Okay. Abilities. Hazmat Bypass 1. Increase the chance for the fluid to enter through a protective suit. Good in wealthy regions. Sounds like drug resistance to me. Thermal Resilience. So that sounds like your environmental hardening, so we can get better in cold and hot countries as well. Yeah, this is a really cool idea for a scenario, honestly. I never really thought of SCP-718 in that way. Actually, I don't know them by their numbers, but the description eyeball just kind of rang a bell, but... yeah, it's a really good idea, actually. You know, something that kind of hits that exponential growth because it's just splatting around and just creates more and more copies of itself. That's pretty cool. If we want to go for inorganic, I guess we might as well. We're going to go for as much infectivity as possible, I think. We do have a few new options, though. Air 1, Water 1, Livestock, Insect, and Rodent. Okay, and they all do about exactly what you would expect it to do. I am kind of surprised. Insects can carry the fluid, but they are not a host. I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that insects can have an eyeball on them. They're kind of big, but okay. Staring will trigger violent attacks from rodents. Okay, so they're not really landing and, like, growing on the rodents, but they are provoking animals to attack it in some way. Which makes some sense. Get the cows to attack it or something, who knows. Let's go for Splat. That leads to Stock 1. The stock becomes more flexible and stronger to better allow for land travel. Now, it travels really slowly, normally, so I can't imagine this works very well, but alright. And then there's Corpse, Death of a Host. Isn't that the same thing? We kind of already have this, so I'm not sure why that exists. I guess... I don't know, actually. I feel like this should probably be more related to the symptom instead. Let's go for Paranoia, because that's kind of a necessity. Alright. Obsession. Subject becomes obsessed with destroying it, which will help it spread, of course. Uneasy makes them uncomfortable. That doesn't sound very useful. We have a lot of severity, but we're not actually getting that much infectivity. I really do need to be investing in more infectivity here. The problem is, every bit of this infectivity also gives me more severity, which is not helping me much. We need to go for air and water, I think. That's what we need. Let's go for some water transmission. Actually, air transmission would have been better. Oops. Whatever, it's fine. We'll go for the water transmission, we'll go for the air transmission. It's not very severe, and it should help us get around substantially more. We could also go for the better land transmission with stock, and maybe that would be a worthwhile investment as well. I don't know, I do need to be careful. I mean, you get too much severity, and it's just a matter of time before they really start curing the crap out of you. So we really do need to get a good spread pretty early on. Tsunami hits New Guinea. Well, I'm so sorry. Stock 2, better land travel? Sure, why not? We'll do that. Now, I wonder if there are mutations in this. Do I need to worry about that? I can't imagine what it would mutate, but maybe. Maybe. Let's go for water 2. That's very effective. Nice. Get around to those islands nice and quick. Doop 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 doop. Saudi Arabia shuts down seaports. Better air travel. Okay. Do we want corpse? No, not until we start killing people. I'm gonna go for some environmental hardening. Blisters 2 did mutate. Okay, so that answers my question. There are mutation options in this particular scenario. I'm also gonna go for the hazmat bypass. That leads to malfunction, slowing down the research. Fluid. Hard to collect. I'm guessing this is genetic hardening, genetic reshuffle, and drug resistance level 2. Okay. I guess... Don't need to go for more severity right now, do I? Even so, I'm going to go for obsession. Aggression, often leading to their termination or other casualties. So the only problem, I guess, with SCP-718 as a scenario, another tsunami? Oh my god. The only problem with it is you do kind of run out of, like, creative options pretty quick. I mean, it's supposed to only really spread one way. There's only so many ways you can rephrase the same thing of paranoia, then obsession, then aggression, and so on. You know, you can only do so much about that. We have no lethality currently. I'm going to go for insects 1 and 2. So we spread really quick there. And I may go for one more level of thermal resilience. And then I think we just start going for as much lethality as possible and start killing everybody. Yeah, that's going to do fine. We have billions of people with extra eyeballs just sitting on them right now. Now, I really need to get into Greenland and Sweden, apparently. That would be great. Can we please do that? Yeah. Multiple eyes. More blisters can form on smaller surfaces. Also gives a chance for the host to have more than one affixed eyeball. Yeah, please send a boat over to Greenland. Please. There we go, thank you. Okay, I think we can get into Sweden pretty easily enough. Let's move on from here. Let's go for aggression that leads to kill it! Subjects will often go berserk, attempting to kill SCP-718. Higher casualties. Do we want to go for uneasy and discomfort? Meh, I don't think that's actually that useful. Let's go for eye growth. We already have some corpse transmission, which is good. And we're in Sweden. So we're in every country in the world. Now we just need to be stocking up on as much lethality as quickly as possible. Insomnia will not accomplish that. Maybe pain will, though. I'm a little concerned that there's not actually going to be very much lethality. Let's go for hallucinations, schizophrenia, and confusion. That's a little bit of lethality, but it's not a lot. I'm kind of in a position where I'm about to run out of steam. Gosh dang it, this happens sometimes. I want to save up for the schizophrenia. There we go, grab that. That leads to delirium. After seeing, data expunged. Subjects become more irrational and take hazardous decisions. I do not remember what people are able to see. If they've looked at the eye long enough or if they have an eye affixed to them. I can't remember if that's a thing. Maybe it is. It's been a while. So the good news is we did get catalytic switch, which means we're going to continue getting DNA from every blue bubble. So we're not going to completely run out of steam here. But it could be a heck of a lot better. Insanity, there's just not a lot of lethality here. This is a little on the disappointing side. I kind of need more of that. I guess we'll go for confusion. Makes mental work harder. Psychosis, causing personality shifts. It's just not much in the way of lethality here. Somehow we've got to hold off this cure, and that's going to be a little bit tough. Multiple eyes mutated. Okay. So we could try going for pain and find out if anything else is up here, but maybe that's not a good idea. I should have gone for symptostasis, I just didn't realize. We could go for malfunction and stuff, and that's fairly cheap and will slow down the cure a little bit. Hot resilience, cold resilience, no. We'll go for fluid. Set back the cure a little bit, buy ourselves some time. We may not have a lot of lethality, but it is enough to win the game. We just need time. Nuclear explosion. Good lord, tsunamis and freaking nukes going off. The heck? Alright, do we want... No, don't need that. I don't think we need any more... There's just no point in getting anything transmission-related. Nothing's lethal. Psychosis or insanity. I kind of want to get insanity, so we can get 6 more DNA points, which we should be able to from these bubbles at the very least. Thank you, catalytic switch. And then we have suicide. There we go. Reduced mental stability often leads to suicide. Now that's what I want to see. A symptom with a lot of lethality associated with it. Very helpful, thank you. Grab that. Suicide. Mania. Lack of conventional sight makes subjects act more irrational and their behavior becomes unpredictable. Now, one thing that's always been weird to me is, I mean, it's SCP. You can't expect, there's always a suspension of disbelief. But, how the heck does the SCP rewire you neurologically so that you can actually see through multiple, you know, eye sockets and process that information? Can you imagine if you had... you know, like compound eyes, and you had so many different eyes in so many different directions finding your way for your brain to process that information? It'd be freaking insane. Alright, pain 2, no, it just makes them uncooperative. It doesn't actually give me any lethality. Yeah, that's gonna have to be that. So I have no idea how the SCP accomplishes that goal, but you know what, it's a freaking SCP. It doesn't need to have a lot more explanation than that, not really. Alright, if we can get just a couple more DNA points, there we go. Let's reset, no, reset the cure a little bit more. Buy ourselves a tiny bit more score, and that will be the end of that. All in all, not bad. SCP-718 is a great idea for a scenario in Plague Inc., and this author seems to have accomplished it pretty well. The only downside is it's not quite as lethal as maybe I would hope, just because it's a little bit slow at this point in the game. But, other than that, really not so bad. Not so bad at all. Please just kill the last few people. Thank you. Okay. 2 stars, 39,000 points, 582 days. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that it does drag on at some point. This is a pretty long scenario, in the sense that it took a very long time for me to actually accomplish my goal, even after I infected the entire world. But, you know what, for the sake of balance, sometimes that's fine. I would just speed up the cure a little bit, and then speed up the lethality a little bit so that people die more. Personal preference, just make the scenario a little faster, but otherwise, well done. Not half bad, I'm kind of impressed. I like this idea for a scenario. Very good. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Leave your suggestions in the comment section, of course, on what I should be playing. And I will see you guys next time.